Those were highlights coming from the United States of America, the NBA. Earlier, you saw the Qatar Open also from the Far East. We are back here in the studio to come and talk about a very important topic in trying to boost our sports and that of football. Remember that the heart of the nation, the passion of the nation went to La Côte d'Ivoire for the 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations. The aftermath has been catastrophic. The issue of whether there was a psychologist of the team has come very big. But in this very broad spectrum, we're going to look at the effect of psychologists or psychological aspect of sports here in Ghana. And the man who best, I think, can do this job is a sports commentator and also a specialist in forensic psychologist. It's Kuku Dsane. Say, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very
much. How's life?
I'm all right. Thank you very, very much.
It's been ages.
I know. Let me just quickly say a big hello to our viewers. And that's been a long time since I was here. Nice to have you here again.
Thank you very much. Quickly, I'll start. Mr. Kuku, quick one. What is the importance of sports psychologists in general? It's a big topic, not only in football, but how important is psychology in terms of sports?
Right. In, let's say, football, for example, in any big game, either in AFCON or in the World Cup, within the organizational structure should have a medical team. I think most times they do have. Remember Dr. Engman and Dr. Pambo, they are the general medical officers who will be looking more at the physical issues. They'll probably have a background in orthopedics. But within that structure, you need to have the psychologists within that area to look at the mental well-being of the players, their concentration span, their ability to control themselves on the pitch, their confidence. You know, in big games, you need somebody who can boost their confidence to meet the challenges ahead. So these areas are very critical. And if you don't have that, the players, especially when they are young players who are not tuned to very, very big tournaments, can freeze. And they'll be on the pitch, instead of playing games, we'll be looking at people like the big guys in the pitch, following them and looking at them.
Yeah. So
it's important that psychology becomes an integral part for any top athlete, whether in athletics, in football, in any big athlete. He needs to have a personal psychologist around.
Okay, quickly. In our part of the nation, at the educational structure, psychology is studied at the highest level, be the University of Ghana, any other way. In Ghana per se, psychological aspect of our lifestyle, vis-a-vis sports, how would you describe it so far? What have you seen so far? You are one of the experts. I mean, what have you seen so far? Is it at the top notch that we do, or probably could do better?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Do you think that the psychological aspect of our sports is our top notch? Not only football. Is it at a top notch that probably we are doing very well? Maybe any other sports we are attaching psychology to it?
I don't see a lot of psychology in the games at all. I remember a few years ago, we used to talk to a couple of guys who used to come to GBC talking about, I don't hear of them anymore. It is possible that the organizers themselves don't see the real importance of psychology. You know, and it is a great subject that can be learned either in the university or even you studying, you know, I did a lot of psychiatry.
Okay.
And it's like studying people, their body languages, the things they like, what they don't like, and all the areas in human behavior. And if you can capture those things, it's very easy for you to study sports psychology that allows you to deal with the players. Their well-being too is very, very important. Because you see, half of these boys are very young.
Yeah.
You'll be walking around Accra, all of a sudden he's playing in the Premier League. He's left his parents, his relatives here. How does he communicate with them? You need a well-being manager within that infrastructure who can deal with these players who are perhaps playing in the Premier League. He needs to talk to his wife. The children are going to school. He needs to make financial investments. Right. Who does he talk to? And what reliable information will he get?
You mean that's everything falls under what you're talking about?
It's part of it.
Okay.
It's part of it. So within the FA itself, they have an officer who you can call a well-being manager, who have his laptop, sit there, have access to all the guys who, when they have problems, can quickly come to, I think normally they go to the Secretary General, but bring it down to the well-being manager, who will talk about...
Is it the same as the welfare manager? That's what they talk about?
Yes, I think they've had the well-being manager is more precise and more into a lot of things, which is very academic. So investments, what do I do with my money? I have some money here, where do I go? I'm building a house in Accra and somehow my money is getting missing and all that. You need somebody to help you to manage these things. You will find that half of them come, they don't have any real pensions at the end of the day. Yeah. After a few years in town, the money seems to have disappeared. And then they are back to brass tacks again, even though they earned a lot of money.
Quickly.
We can mention a few, but we don't want to mention
don't mention a few, by the way. Quickly, we went to the Africa Cup of Nations. Remember that we didn't do very well. The whole nation is somehow grieving because we invested a lot of money into it.
Yes.
In such circumstances, how can we help the team itself psychologically to bounce back again, knowing very well that we'll be going to another African Cup of Nations qualifiers? Again, the World Cup qualifiers will start in June.
Yes.
In this situation, psychologically or probably psychiatrically, if I'll say so, because that's your expert. How can we help a team to bounce back, knowing very well what is at stake?
I think there are contributory factors to why we failed in this tournament. And it's important to try and elicit those areas.
So you need to identify the problems.
Yes,
that's what you're talking about.
First, find the problem and sort it out. But you know, if the public is saying, hip wire as to on demonstrations and all that, the first thing to that I think the president should do is to ask the minister to resign. First thing, resign. That then alleviates the stress of the public. The public then knows that, oh, the president is doing something about it. But if nothing is said...
That's a psychic aspect of the game.
I remember when they sacked the Ivory Coast manager.
Yeah.
The team changed. You understand? So he will be the sacrificial lamb, so to speak. Now, if he doesn't go...
Even if the problem is not his problem?
It's not his problem, but he's sitting at a position where he has a lot of tentacles in the system. You know, he has an oversight responsibility for a lot of things. The money is from government and all that. He's part of it. So if you ask him to resign, if he doesn't resign, sack him. If you sack him, immediately the public will say, the president now knows what is going on. He wants to do something about it. And then the public settles down. And then you have to go and find out what is happening. Ask the FA to do an immediate
forensic report.
Yes, a forensic assessment of what happened and let us know. If you are not sure of what to do, take a trip to Nigeria, take a trip to Ivory Coast, and try and ask and talk to them and see what has gone wrong.
In this situation of ours, yes, we ended everything, and so we back home. There's so much talk about it. This one should do this, one to do this. Psychologically, what should we do to change the fortunes or probably try and solve the problem a little bit?
Well,
apart from you suggesting that maybe somebody could have been fired, what else should we do?
You know, there are internal issues that you might probably never know.
Okay.
Like bonuses, like the players that came. What are the relationships that they have with the FA? Are they playing for themselves or are they playing for country? You know, you have to make this assessment. Somebody has to go in and find out what exactly went wrong. Yeah. Were their bonuses paid? Did they get half money? And what went on? We don't know. We set up the media. You're supposed to be finding out these things.
Yes.
You're supposed to have a good relationship and a rapport. If it's not direct, covert information will be given to you so that you can also relay it to, like you're doing now. This subject is an important subject. I don't think that the last time I spoke about this subject. Yeah. Very, very important. So the media and sports are bedfellows. They sleep in the same bed. Yeah. So you are supposed to tell us what is going on. I'm not supposed to tell you. You should be able to find out information from Kurt, of the minister. What went on? Tell us what happened. The details of it. And then if you find a problem, then you can try and find answers to it. But if you don't know the problem,
it's difficult.
It's very, very difficult.
Well, the time check over is 42 past 18 hours GMT here in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. My name is Phil John Quartey. I've been engaging a sports commentator and a forensic psychiatrist expert in Kuku regarding psychiatrists and or probably psychological aspect of the football vis-a-vis the African Cup of Nations and going forward. Quickly, we'll be going to World Cup qualification. We'll be trying to also probably go to the African Cup of Nations once again. Do we need a psychologist in the team moving forward? Why do we need it?
Of course you do. Because he is able to make proper assessments of how the guys are thinking. He can even reorientate them to tell them, look, what happened last time? Forget about it. Let's look at the way forward. And he'll be talking to them all the time. He'll be like their friend and their brother. And therefore...
The one you're talking about should be part of the technical team?
All the time. All the time. Remember, Jones Atukifiu had a natural psychological competencies. And I think even at a certain point, they said he should be a roving ambassador to be going out to picking up players who are the best. As of now, we have so many Ghanaians playing outside the country.
I'll take a particular example. Jose Mourinho was never a football coach. That's his job at Barcelona before he came to the game.
Yes. You know, and therefore, you remember a guy called Dsane? But he was so excellent with the players that he was able to motivate them. He was able to tell them this, Olele, Stephen Appiah, them. He was looking after them like his little brothers. So you need somebody who has a rapport with them, not somebody who is officious, not somebody who can sit in the car and say, hey, my friend. No. You don't. These are young boys who are just starting life and they need a certain relationship. You know, so we need to look at that very, very seriously.
This survey, if we decided it's not important, maybe we should give it to the welfare officer. What are the likely implications if you don't take a psychologist alongside our teams?
You'll be having these problems all the time. We have not been consistent in our games. There's something very wrong somewhere. And I even think that incident that happened between Nyantechi and the corruption issue that came has dented football so hugely that to actually come out of it is becoming a problem. That has made ministers, the presidency, rather timid about sports. They don't want to come in because the accusations were too huge and were too worldwide. So, you know, everybody is coming there and making sure, well, we'll give them money, but going there and trying to call them and do, no, we're going to do that. We need to step over that. You need a strong minister. You need a strong GFA boss. You need somebody who is not afraid to talk and make things happen. The likes of E.T. Mensah. They were not going to listen to any nonsense. They get on with it. And they do it with performance. Stephen Appiah, who at a certain point was dropped in Scotland many years ago when he was a young man. He said, no, put this man on the aircraft and get him to Scotland and let him play. Look at what Stephen Appiah became. So, you know, there are guys who are football lovers who can implement programs and activities. They don't have to go to a secondary school or university. They love the game, and they will let it happen. Look at the guy who was at Liberty. What do you call him again? The guy who died, the Liberty boss. Yes, these are real football guys. But if you put guys in areas, they come and shout and they make noise and they say, I'll beat this. Oh, my friend, no.
Okay. Uncle Kuku, we'll be hosting the rest of Africa starting on the 8th of March. That's the All-African Game, the 13th edition. What should we do in terms of psyching the players mentally, psychologically, with all this you're talking about? Remember that Ghana, our preparation has been a little bit slow. I mean, as we are speaking now, we are finishing touches to some of the items or some of the facility to get it done. But our teams are preparing. Psychologically, how should we prepare our athletes and players and all of them to ensure that we get success? Because millions of dollars have been invested into this.
I think a lot of our players are coming from outside, are they not?
The athletes themselves.
The sprinters, I think that. But you know, we you know, sometimes I worry. You know the stadium? When we did the CAN 208, the whole track was taken out. Hitherto, you have fire, you have military. Everybody was there, doing sports in their spare time, in their leisure time. And therefore, you're able to have a venue to have games. Today, I don't know where they do these practices. The stadium, nobody goes there. It's an empty space. Even times of games, nobody goes there. Few guys. So you can take the inner circle, take it out. It's about 40,000 seats. You
are referring to the Accra Sports Stadium?
The Accra Sports Stadium.
Okay, I'm talking about all African games. Remember that the Boteman new stadium built here and there. Going to the games psychologically, how should we prepare our players, our athletes, enable for them to achieve results? How should we prepare their mind?
So employ a psychologist. We'll be with the guys in the camp. We visit them every morning, being at breakfast with them. You know, when they're having a meal, he'll be with them. He'll be talking to them and picking those who are lacking certain capacities. It could be fear. It could be confidence. It could be his poor concentration. It could be something. He will identify what it is.
Including the mental fortitude?
Yes, by looking at them, he will know what is wrong and will address it accordingly. And then, you know, you keep on and maintain that relationship with them. And they'll grow up to be very confident. Go to the pitch, it's javelin, it's hurdles, 100 meters, whatever. They will do very well.
Going forward as a country, should we invest into this psychological aspect in our sports going forward? You are an expert. What message or what advice would you give to the sports ministry or those in charge of our sports regarding finding tune our players in terms of psychological aspect? Must we invest into this and why?
Yes, yes. Look at the universities. You might find guys perhaps doing psychology or as a major or whatever. Yeah. Get about 5 of them into the ministry as interns, and then keep training them. Support them to train as a sports psycho. It's not a specific subject in itself. Okay. You can do psychology, and at the end of the day, you get speciality in this sports aspect of it. It's just like the general medical officers. Yeah. You'll be a GP, you'll be a surgeon or something. No, you'll be a GP, but at the end, a surgeon. But at the end of the day, you migrate into that speciality.
What is the sports director? My name is Phil John Quartey. We've been trying as much as possible the aftermath of the AFCON with the psychological aspect of it going vis-a-vis, and also the African Cup of Nations. Not forgetting the African Games that Ghana is supposed to host starting March on the 8th. We get some few messages. I'll read some of them. Okay, the first one says this: you guys are doing a wonderful job. Keep it up. That's an important message and topic to talk about. This is coming from Abdul Yahoo from Tamale. Another one says, hi Phil, thank you very much for this important topic. We need this to transform our sports. Tell the man in the studio he's done a great job by our standard. We love what he just said about psychology. We need it to transform our sports. This is coming from Amelie from Kutubabi. Well, this is the show. Remember that 19 hours GMT will be time for News Night and Mora Udu, smartly dressed, ready to give you everything news here in Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stay tuned at 19 hours GMT. So, just before you leave us, what advice would you give to sportsmen and women in Ghana, Africa, and across the world regarding why they should build their mind mentally, psychologically before they go to any other competition? Why is this so important?
You talk to the top athletes and you tell you, train, 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 and train. That's what is going to get to the top. And rest? Keep training. Well, rest a little bit, but you have to keep training all the time. Azuma and Nelson will tell you that. Does that one build your mental fortitude? It's part of it. It's part of it. But physical, you see, sports is physical. Football is generally running for about 2 hours without stopping. Fabregas was at a certain point measured for running in a game, and then he ran about 7 miles. So you have to be able to run. That's why you do medicals to see how strong your heart is. Yeah. So fitness is critical. Train, 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 train. You'll get there. Well, thank you very much for passing through.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. He is an expert and a sports commentator in what we are talking about. My name is Phil John Quartey. Need to rush out and make way for news at 19 hours GMT. We're back tomorrow. Till then, like I always say, just love life and never, ever forget your living God. Good evening.